So, gut feeling, who should replace Mike McCarthy if, in fact, he is fired?
You know, Skip, what I believe, Sherm, Skip, is this kind of a loss and this kind of a stench in this place can't stay around. You can't sell hope to the fan base next year with this intact as is. It's just going to be impossible. I know you had 3 12-win seasons, but you lose 2 of those 3 playoff games in the wild card round and 1 in the division round. And it's not just it's not that you lost those games. It's also when you look back at how you lost those games. They were disasters. All of them. They were disasters. All of them. And then you come at this place in this moment and you put that kind of performance up. Everything was supposedly be in the right place. You let somebody put 48 points up on that team. It's hard to say move forward as is. It's just hard to say that. So listen, you can't change the whole football team, but the best change you can make are the coaches. And you can say, let's get other people to see if they can get other things out of the majority of the nucleus of this team that we can't just change out. So, yeah, it'll be hard to say, Mike McCarthy, let's line it up. Let's try it again next year. No, I always tell you guys, hope will dictate effort. I don't know how you're going to sell that to the fan base. I don't even know if some of the players will buy into that.
That's true.
Anymore. You know what I mean? So you have to try something different. You have to try something new. And in this sense, I want something with discipline. I want discipline. You can say what you want about Jimmy. Jimmy believed in discipline. Yeah, we played a game a certain way, but boy, Jimmy believes in hard-nosed discipline. And that's what we need with the Cowboys. Listen, this ain't, and I've talked about this all the time, this ain't a skill thing. Do I believe the Dallas Cowboys have talented enough players to go farther in the playoff and certainly have a better ending than this? Absolutely. Do I believe they can use better players? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I saw yesterday was a coaching spanking. And something has to change. Dude, I've heard people talk about Belichick. I was at first saying, no way, it wouldn't work here. But after last night, everything is changing. You can get me a Belichick, but I'm still going to want me an innovative, offensive-minded coach. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of seeing other offenses have guys running wide open, and we never do. We never do. I want to see some of that in Dallas. So I don't want I want Bill's discipline, but I don't want that old offense. I don't want our old offense. I want something more innovative that's more conducive to what they're doing in the National Football League right now. And yes, we need a better defense. So once you move that first chair, you got to sweep the house. There's no moving somebody from that defensive coordinator chair to the head coaching chair because the defensive coordinator, that whole job was done so badly, everybody has to get swept. And you bring in somebody that gives me some great discipline and an innovative mind on the offensive side, and let's lock it on and go get it next year. But you got to make some kind of changes.
I think this is probably Mike McCarthy's last game as Dallas Cowboy head coach. I'm sure he'll get another opportunity. The way the league goes, everything is cyclical. He's second in the last 3 years in wins to only Andy Reid. The only difference is Andy Reid was holding a trophy up last year. And you expect to be holding a trophy up. You get 36 wins in the last 3 years. Andy Reid had 37. And everybody talks about how great he was, and we're talking about sitting here talking about firing McCarthy, and rightfully so after the performance last night. But I really don't know where you go to replace him because I don't think you can go anywhere and take steps forward. Everywhere you go and everywhere in my mind, I go, and you hire somebody else. You take steps back. You had the number one offense. You had a top 5 defense. At some point, you got to say, well, maybe these players, maybe we're giving them too much credit for how good this team is. And you need to start looking at the inner workings, because bringing Bill Belichick in, what does that solve? I mean, when is the last time you've seen offensive innovation from Bill Belichick coached offense? You saw one of the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady, but once he was gone, you don't see anything resembling an innovative offense. You see a bunch of pedestrian offenses that ranked 15th, middle of the pack, bottom of the pack this year, and you see them not doing well. Now, you see schematically, defensively, they come up with some really great game plans and stop some really great offenses and hold them to nothing, regardless of what the talent looks like on Belichick's side of the football. But I don't know if bringing him in is going to change this franchise and take you where you want to go. Unless Tom Brady's coming with him, I don't see that changing anything. And Skip, you've made this point a number of times. So I think I hear your point with discipline, but discipline isn't the same as it used to be, Irv. He's not going to be able to sit there and tell these guys, hey, my way or the highway, because there's certain guys on this team, no matter what your way is, they're not seeing the highway. You'll see the highway before they do. Micah Parsons is one of them. CeeDee Lamb is one of them. And Dak Prescott, I believe, is one of them. Because if you get rid of Dak Prescott, you take a bunch of steps back. You're not getting better in free agency. You're not going to find a better quarterback in free agency, and you don't have to.
We'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about it, but we're not getting rid of that. What I want is what he has, what Bill Belichick has on defense. You can say a lot about it, and you just mentioned it. A lot of times his team is not the most talented, but he still stops teams. He was innovative on the defensive side, like we're seeing these young guys that are very innovative on the offensive side. That was how Bill Belichick made his mark. He's still a brilliant defensive coach, I would Frankenstein my staff. That means I'm going to put it together. You know what I mean? I want to take a Bill Belichick and put him with Al Harris, but I want to go find me an offensive mind. If I give Bill Belichick's defense a number one offense, dude, I got a chance at something. That's all I'm saying. What Bill Belichick has had since Tom has left is not a good offense, but he's always put up a pretty good defense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can't trust Bill Belichick, the GM. And is Jerry going to let him run the show? Because Bill Belichick, the GM, put Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator. You want to walk into a situation where he potentially puts a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator, and says, Dak, go to work and experiments with the Dallas Cowboys. That would be an inherent disaster. And that's why I'm not sure that would work out. Now, if you go with a Ben Johnson, who's having a great run, Bobby Slowick, these are the innovative minds that you're talking about.
But I don't know if they're going to bring the discipline. And I don't want more of what I got right now. And that's the whole thing. So if I can't Frankenstein it, then that don't work. Now, I know people talking Jim Harbaugh. I don't know if Jim Harbaugh probably already signed or got something worked out already with the Chargers, to be honest with you. And this is coming in late, so I don't know if that'll be available. But I need more discipline on a defense. I can't have those gaping holes being run through like that.
Okay. I'm a big Harbaugh fan, always have been. There's no way you can criticize what he's done in pro or college football, because he was those 3 straight years in San Francisco of 3 straight NFC championship games. Richard observed it up close and personal. They broke through once, lost on a last-second play. I thought it was pass interference on Crabtree thrown by Colin Kaepernick into the end zone against his big brother, older brother, John. Came very close and then just won the national championship. Boy, we could do a lot worse than Jim Harbaugh, and I do believe he would bring that discipline that you're talking about, because he's a tough guy. But Jerry Jones is a tough guy to work for, and I just don't know if Jim would want to accept how you have to play off Jerry Jones. He tried it, Michael, as you recall. He ceded control to Bill Parcells for a little while until Jerry finally said, I got to go get me T.O. I need to sell some more tickets here. Get your popcorn ready. And that was the beginning of the end between Jerry and Bill Parcells. Jerry would have to cede some more control to Jim. Obviously, the cupboard is not bare in Dallas. Money might talk. If Jerry wanted to open the coffers, he could pay Jim Harbaugh whatever he wanted to pay. Now, let me tell you what would scare me about Bill Belichick. There was a great piece that was posted yesterday on ESPN.com about just how ugly it got inside the Patriots over the last 5 years, that Belichick was the one who told Kraft that Tom Brady in 2019 just can't play anymore. He's done. We got to get rid of him. And Kraft bought it. And, of course, Kraft is quoted in there through an anonymous quote as saying, and he goes and wins the effing Super Bowl in Tampa. So that was the beginning of the end there. And it got so bad they barely spoke to each other, Kraft and Belichick. And then it quoted in sources about the Krafts, Robert and Jonathan, would refer sarcastically to Belichick as the great intelligent man, all sarcastic. It fell so far apart and it got so bad that, remember, Bill Belichick over the last 4 years without Brady went 29-38. Without Brady overall in his head coaching career, he's 64-85. And if you look at this, he got to one playoff game over the last 4 years. And what happened in that one playoff game, speaking of discipline, they got blown out the way Dallas got blown out yesterday. This happened to be at Buffalo, but it was 47-17. And Buffalo played the perfect game because it never punted and it scored on every single possession of the game, 47-17. Are we sure that Belichick would fix what ails Dallas? I don't know, Michael. I see if he would come and agree to be the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, we might have something, but I don't think he's going to agree to do that.
Yeah, right. Listen, first of all, Bill had the propensity for allowing people to leave a year early as opposed to a year late. I'm sure when he told Mr. Kraft that Tom Brady can no longer play, he meant in his system and the way they had won Super Bowls prior to, because Tom had taken a lesser talented team,
yep,
and he always beat more talented teams.
He did.
And in that sense, Tom couldn't do that anymore. He was absolutely right. But Tom went to a more superior team,
he did,
and added his knowledge. Just like Peyton Manning did his last year in Denver, he wasn't still Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Everybody would say he couldn't play anymore, but they still came back to him, and they won a Super Bowl because of the decision-making he was making with what he had around him. And that's how Tom won in Tampa. He was making good decisions with the talent he had around him. So I'm not saying Bill was wrong there. Bill has a quarterback in Dallas. That's the whole thing. He has a quarterback in Dallas. He has an offense. I need his discipline and his defensive knowledge. You would not see people running wide open like that with Bill
true. I'll
Belichick.
buy that.
You would not see it.
Yeah.
He may not get you a billion sacks, but you won't see that. They will play team defense all the time. That's all. We have been dealing with this can't stop the run for years now. Years now. Years, and that has to end this year.
Yeah. No, but I mean, this was the ego of Bill Belichick saying, "Hey, it's not Tom, it's me. You can get rid of Tom, and we can still have success." It wasn't Bill, it was Tom, and they realized that, and that's why they're departing from him now, because they thought, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's you, Bill. So we can get rid of Tom, and we can just run it with a guy that looks like Tom or plays similar to Tom, and we'll be fine." They realized they cannot do that. So this is, again, the genius of Bill Belichick that they're talking about, where you're sitting there saying, "Hey, yeah, it's me. Don't worry about it, Kraft. Get rid of him. I got this. I'm going to right the ship," and the ship's not righted.
All right. So all I know for sure is Jerry Jones, enough of Mike McCarthy. Got to go now. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.